Since the first Super Bowl back in 1967, the annual game has brought some of the greatest plays in the history of the game. But in this video, we're going to take a look at the most impactful plays in the history of the Super Bowl, the ones that added the most win probability to a team whether they ended up winning or losing. So, let's see what 15 plays were the most important.
Totally sports-esque. Majorly.
We start things off at number 15 with arguably the greatest quarterback-wide receiver duo in history with Joe Montana and Jerry Rice in Super Bowl 23. After tying the game at 13 at the start of the fourth, the Bengals took a 3-point lead on a field goal with a little over 3 minutes remaining. Joe Montana and the 49ers then went on one of the greatest drives in NFL history. Starting at their own 8, they were in Bengals territory 6 plays later. Then after a 10-yard penalty putting them back at the Bengals 45, came the most important play of the drive, when Montana found Rice for a 27-yard completion to put them at the 18 and add 35.1% to the 49ers win probability. Montana would throw a 10-yard touchdown to John Taylor to complete the 92-yard drive. Then after 2 incomplete passes to Chris Collinsworth, the 49ers won their 3rd Super Bowl. That play by Rice brought his receiving yards to 215, a Super Bowl record that still stands. At number 14, we have a play from a game we're going to visit multiple times. Super Bowl 43 had many iconic plays mainly from the end of the game, but arguably, the most memorable came at the end of the second half. Starting at the Pittsburgh 34 after an interception with 2 minutes remaining in the half, the Cardinals went all the way to the 1 and pulled a Pete Carroll by deciding to throw it. The pass was picked off by James Harrison, who went 100 yards for a pick 6 as the half came to an end. The longest defensive play in Super Bowl history, and one that added 35.2% to the Steelers' win probability, giving them an 88% chance to win. This is the only play on the list that didn't occur in the second half, and aside from looking at the stat sheet, you could argue that it was the most important play of the game and one that had many. At number 13, we have our first play from the 20th century, going back to Super Bowl 14. The Steelers, who were seeking their 4th title in 6 years, were trailing the Los Angeles Rams 19-17 with 13 minutes left in the game. Then after a 2-yard run and an incomplete pass, at their own 27, Terry Bradshaw threw a 40-yard pass to John Stallworth, who took it to the end zone for a 73-yard touchdown, adding 36.1% to the Steelers' win probability, bringing it to 73%. Things were in the Steelers' hands the rest of the game, as the Rams couldn't score another point, as the Steelers won their 4th Super Bowl, 31-19. At number 12, we have the most important play of arguably the greatest Super Bowl of all time. Super Bowl 51 has one of the wildest win probability charts of all time. Not in the way a back and forth game like the Chiefs-Bills 2021 divisional round game, but rather a team coming back from the abyss after being down for a while. The Falcons still had a 97% chance to win when the Patriots began their drive with 3:30 left to go. And after one of the greatest catches in NFL history by Julian Edelman, and catches by Danny Amendola and James White, the Patriots were set up at the Falcons' 8. And another James White catch put them at the 1, with the Falcons still having a 75% chance to win. Then James White would run the ball in, and Danny Amendola would catch the 2-point conversion to bring the 25-point deficit to 0, and add 36.4% to the Patriots' win probability, bringing it to 61%. The Falcons would do nothing with their last prayer in regulation, then naturally, the Patriots would win the coin toss, and another James White touchdown would bring their win probability to 283%. At number 11, we return to Super Bowl 43 for the lasting image of the game. The Cardinals had a 3-point lead with 2.5 minutes left in the game on a play we'll get to later. Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers then took over and went on a career-defining drive. At the Cardinals' 6 with less than a minute left, Roethlisberger threw an incomplete pass to Holmes. Then with 42 seconds left, Roethlisberger threw a perfect pass to the back of the end zone, and Holmes made a perfect catch to give the Steelers a lead and add 37.6% to the Steelers' win probability. And while this play was a difference maker in the game, it actually wasn't the most important of that drive. The most important of the drive was another catch made by Holmes, and his 10th on the list. On the 7th play of the drive with 1:02 left, on 2nd and 6, Roethlisberger connected with Holmes at the 35. He then ran another 29 yards to put the Steelers at the 6-yard line with 49 seconds left, adding 38.7% to the Steelers' win probability to bring it to 65%. That will go up to 100% after the just mentioned Holmes touchdown and the final kneel for the Steelers' 6th Super Bowl. At number 9, we have a forgotten play from Super Bowl 52. In the game where the Eagles finally broke through to win their 1st Super Bowl, the most important play came on the Eagles' go-ahead touchdown drive in the 4th. After an 18-yard pass to Nelson Agholor to put the Eagles well in the field goal range for Jake Elliott, they were brought even closer after another first down completion to Agholor to put them at the Patriots' 14 with 2:43 left. Prior to this play, the Eagles had a 37.2% chance to win, but after this play, the Eagles had a 67.9% chance to win, bringing the win probability up 40.7%. After a run and an incomplete pass, that win probability will go all the way up to 96.6% after the Zach Ertz touchdown, and will go up to 100% after the Eagles took an 8-point lead and stopped Tom Brady from kissing his son. At number 8, we have our second play from the 20th century in Super Bowl 17. Washington never had the lead over the Dolphins the entire game until 10:28 left in the fourth. After a 41-yard punt, Washington decided to go for it on 4th and 1 on the Dolphins' 43. On that play, John Riggins shoved through a defender, then broke away for a 43-yard touchdown run to give Washington a 20-17 lead, the longest touchdown run in Super Bowl history, until another Redskins running back, Timmy Smith, ran for a 58-yard touchdown in Super Bowl 23. That historic touchdown run by John Riggins would add 41% to the Redskins' win probability as they held the Dolphins in the fourth, while adding another touchdown from Charlie Brown to win 27-17 and give the Redskins their first Super Bowl as Riggins won MVP. At number 7, we have a play from a team that ended up losing the Super Bowl, and one of the greatest Super Bowls ever played that ended with a 41-yard field goal from Adam Vinatieri. It was a play 7 minutes prior that had the biggest swing in the game. The highest scoring fourth quarter in Super Bowl history began with the Patriots touchdown to give them a 21-10 lead. The Panthers responded with an 83-yard touchdown drive and a failed 2-point conversion. Patriots then marched all the way to the Panthers' 9 before Tom Brady threw an interception to Reggie Howard. A penalty put the Panthers at their own 15. Then after 2 incomplete passes by a guy who's made as many Super Bowls as Aaron Rodgers, Jake Delhomme, he connected with Masan Muhammad on 3rd and 10 for an 85-yard touchdown, the longest passing play in Super Bowl history, and brought the Panthers' win probability to 56%, a 41.5% change. The Patriots would regain the lead with the touchdown and 2-point conversion, then the Panthers responded with one of their own. Then, as already mentioned, Adam Vinatieri would kick the 41-yard field goal to give the Patriots their second Super Bowl. That field goal was the 37th point of the fourth quarter. A quick overview of why many considered it the greatest Super Bowl ever played after it ended. At number 6, we have another Super Bowl featuring Tom Brady, but this time, the game ends like it did for Jake Delhomme. Super Bowl 42 is another one of the best to ever be played, and featured maybe the greatest upset in Super Bowl history. The 12-point favorite Patriots came into the game looking to be the first unbeaten team since the '72 Dolphins, and the only thing in their way was this guy and the Giants. The Giants took a 10-7 lead with 11 minutes left in the fourth, then after 2 drives that ended with a punt, the Patriots went on a 12-play, 75-yard touchdown drive to regain the lead. Then came one of the biggest drives in NFL history. A few plays after a 4th and 1 conversion, arguably the most memorable catch in NFL history occurred after David Tyree's 32-yard helmet catch to set the Giants up at the Patriots' 24. But that wasn't the most important play of the game. Instead, it was the last play of the drive. After a very underrated first down pass to Steve Smith on 3rd and 11, Eli Manning threw a 13-yard touchdown pass to Plaxico Burress to add 41.8% to the Giants' win probability, and that would go up to 100% after the Giants held the Patriots to give them a final record of 18-1. At number 5, we have yet another play from a Tom Brady Super Bowl, and another from a team that ended up losing to Tom Brady. This one is perhaps the most overshadowed play in Super Bowl history by a play we'll get to later. This play comes from the fourth quarter of Super Bowl 49 between the Seahawks and Patriots. The Patriots took a 28-24 lead with 2 minutes left after a Julian Edelman touchdown. The Seahawks were then set up at the Patriots' 49 after a 31-yard Marshawn Lynch completion before the 2-minute warning. After a 3rd and 10 conversion, Russell Wilson let one ride and threw a pass near the 10 to Jermaine Kearse. Malcolm Butler tipped it, and at that very second, it appeared 2nd and 10 was coming up. But then, the ball tipped off Kearse's leg, and after a bobble, fell into his hands for a 33-yard completion to put the Seahawks at the 5, adding 42.8% to the Seahawks' win probability, giving them a 70% chance to win the game. But for anyone who knows anything about this game, that win probability would go up after the next play, take an absolute free fall in the next one. At number 4, we go back to the great year of 2020 for Super Bowl 54. With 7 minutes left in this game, the 49ers had a 96.1% chance to win the game, but Kansas City came right back into things after a touchdown drive and a 49ers 3-and-out. For the first time since the start of the second half, things swung towards the Chiefs after a 38-yard pass to Watkins to put them at the 10 and a 6-yard run by Mahomes. But on the following play, Mahomes was sacked 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage, putting things back in the 49ers' favor. Then on 3rd and goal, Mahomes connected with Damian Williams for a 5-yard touchdown that would be reviewed and upheld, adding 45.4% to the Chiefs' win probability, going from 35.1% to 80.5%. The Chiefs would stop the 49ers and add another touchdown to win their first Super Bowl since 1970. At number 3, We're going back to Super Bowl 43 for the last time for the top positive play for a team that ended up losing the Super Bowl. Prior to Santonio Holmes' 40-yard play and 6-yard touchdown, the Cardinals had what looked to be the biggest play in franchise history and still one of the biggest in Super Bowl history. In the midst of a 13-point fourth quarter comeback, there was no bigger play than the second of the Cardinals' drive after the Steelers' safety. After an incomplete pass to Anquan Bolden, Kurt Warner found Larry Fitzgerald over the middle for a 64-yard touchdown with 2:37 remaining, adding 50.9% to the Cardinals' win probability, going all the way up to 73%. But as already mentioned, Roethlisberger and the Steelers would respond with a 78-yard touchdown drive. But with all the iconic plays from easily one of the best Super Bowls of all time, including 4 on this list, Fitzgerald's catch and run was the one that had the biggest impact by win probability. At number 2, we have the most painful of memories for Bills fans from Super Bowl 25. The top play from the 20th century. This came as a result of Jim Kelly leading the Bills in the field goal range after starting at their own 10 with 2:16 left. Thurman Thomas had the 2 biggest plays of the drive prior to this, running for 22 yards on 3rd and 1 from their own 19, and later running for 11 yards on 2nd and 4 to put the Bills at the Giants' 29-yard line. And after a spike, Scott Norwood came out looking to give the Bills their first Super Bowl. And to be fair, aside from just the fact that this was a kick for the Super Bowl, it definitely wasn't a chip shot. Prior to the kick, kickers were 11 for 27 in kicks beyond 40 yards in the Super Bowl. And after Bill Parcells called a timeout to ice him, with 8 seconds left, the ball was snapped, Norwood kicked it, and it went wide right, adding 52.3% to the Giants' win probability that was at 100%. With another recent playoff kick going wide right for the Bills, many wonder if the Bills are a cursed franchise. And you can watch the video I made about cursed teams in sports to see that perhaps the Bills are, in fact, a cursed team. And that brings us to number 1. We returned to Super Bowl 49 for a play many expected to be at the top spot. After Jermaine Kears made one of the greatest catches in Super Bowl history to put the Seahawks at the Patriots 5, it seemed certain that they were going to score. And that certainty went up after Marshawn Lynch ran 4 yards before being tackled by Dante Hightower to put them at the 1. A very underrated play from this game. And ultimately, it seemed that this was the best thing that could happen on this play, to drain the clock even more, and with Marshawn Lynch in the backfield, a touchdown seemed a guarantee. But then with 26 seconds left, on 2nd and goal, the biggest plot twist in NFL history took place, when Russell Wilson threw a quick slant intended for Ricardo Lockett that was intercepted by Malcolm Butler, a play that added an insane 80.6% to the Patriots' win probability. That's 28.3% higher than Scott Norwood's missed kick at 2nd. No play in Super Bowl history has impacted a game as much as this one, and it will be very hard for it to ever be topped. So after looking at the 15 most impactful plays in Super Bowl history, it's not always the most memorable plays that make the difference. Whether it's just a late game first down conversion, a missed kick, or a decision to pass on the 1-yard line. Every play has an impact, and no play can impact a game like pressing the quit button and chucking your remote through the TV.
Oh my fucking...